What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. So thank you guys again for joining us for another pre-market analysis for this morning. For those that are joining us for the first time, usually the market opens at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. I'm here in Arizona. So it is 6:07. So it's about, usually we wake up 30 minutes before the market opens. We analyze some stocks, try to identify potential and potential stocks that we're going to be trading. And the reason that we like to do that during pre-market hours is because the day before, as of yesterday, we perform technical analysis on a series of stocks, and these are just pretty much follow-ups on analyzing those stocks, making sure that they're going to be trading like how we were planning on them to trade. And if they're not, then we're not going to trade them. For those that are joining us again for the first time and are getting into trading stocks altogether, one of the biggest rules that we want to encourage is to never trade based on anyone else's opinion. If you don't understand what you're investing in, and if you don't understand what you're investing in, and regardless of what the circumstance is, if they're making a lot of money, but you still don't understand, how to get in, how to get out, you don't understand anything about the components about investing, please understand that your time will come and that it takes a lot of hard work and dedication to understand the fundamentals of trading. And I just don't want you to get discouraged at a very early age, even if you can get lucky with one of your first couple of trades. Regardless of that, I want to make sure that we promote growth overall, and we want to make sure that you understand that there's a lot of work that has to come with that. We have a series of videos that we consistently upload in a sense to answer frequently asked questions, so I hope you guys can make your way to my YouTube channel. It's under my helpful videos playlist. But let's get to it. It is 6:08. I'm using my MacBook Air. I'm going live, and I also have TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform running there, but I also have it running on my other, or not, oh my goodness. Let me make sure all my alarms are off. It's not my computer, but we have it running on another computer here. But let's go ahead and get to it. Let me start sharing my screen. And before I start sharing my screen, I'm not too sure if you guys tuned in for our live stream yesterday, but actually I need to start sharing my screen just so you guys can at least see the stock while we start analyzing it. And I wanted it to actually sell while I was live, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. So I had really bad experience with XBIT yesterday. The reason why is, again, we were doing the same thing we always do, analyze stocks during pre-market hours. And I usually, within my watch list, like to focus on stocks with high volume. That's just an indicator that I really like to focus on. You don't have to, which is something that I like to do. And XBIT was right up here, which it's usually not. It's usually AMD, Apple, Bank, all these top stocks are the ones that always see a good amount of volume. The reason that I found this one to be so attractive is because XBIT took a drop from about $9 all the way down to $2. So we call these gappers. There's this margin of profit that once it drops all the way to where it did, it tends to ride back up. And that's really what it did. Right as the market opened, I was waiting for the break above $4. Why did I come up with that figure of $4? Well, the reason why is due to, let's see if I can actually go that far back. Two-day analysis, and I hope this makes sense to you guys. Because once it dropped, it first started selling right here at this 405 mark, had a huge drop, bounced at the 277, and then came back up. And then once it was coming back up, I knew this resistance at that 4 or 405, whatever it is you're trying to call it, that was going to be a critical point when it comes to if the volume really starts to increase, then it would pop right through. There were a couple pullbacks. It did end up coming, like once it went above, within like the first, I think, like 2 minutes, it went from $4 to $4.40, and then it came back down to $3.80, and then it went all the way up to highs of like $5.65. From the lowest point of where we were able to capture it to the highest point, that was 51%. And that's why yesterday's video, if you guys watch like the ones in my YouTube channel, is like how to find a 35% gainer. That was in a sense underestimating what it is that we actually found, because at the end of the day, it ended up going that high. And there were so many traders that messaged me that were able to make sense because, again, I'm just here to talk about what I'm trading, and I'm just here to share my whole thought process about my whole analysis, where I plan to get in, where I plan to get out, and where I cut my losses. In no way should you guys ever like try to jump into a stock because of me. And that's something so many of you guys understood when I was talking about XBIT. You guys understood, where you were going to get in. You guys understood the resistance on where you were going to sell. If not, then you guys followed with a trailing stop loss. And then overall, you had a stop loss just in case you had to cut losses. And there's so many of you that, were like, oh man, I should have held XBIT since we didn't know it was going to go up to $5.65. Who cares? Like, you guys have to understand you never know 100% what's going to happen. But the thing that you do know is how to manage risk. And the best way to do that is to have a plan every single time you trade. If it's either following with the trailing stop loss just to, at least give it a cushion while it's rising. If it's, having an overall limit order at a certain price point that you want to sell for a profit, regardless of what it is, the importance of knowing where you're buying, knowing where you're selling, knowing where you're going to cut your losses is so important every single time you trade. And I can't stress that enough. I'm going to talk about the position that I took on Snapchat. And not too sure if you guys caught it on the live stream. I ended up averaging down to it was seven. What was it? I'll show you guys my screenshots for my Robinhood account. If you guys didn't see yesterday's video, I am not going to be day trading anymore with my Robinhood account. I'm going to be moving over to Fidelity myself. And then I'm still trying to work on certain deals with these certain brokerage companies to at least make it an easier transition for you guys. And that's something that I'll follow up with in just a couple minutes. But let me go ahead and yesterday, let's see if I can pull it up. As of June 12th, I ended up trading. Let's see if you guys can see. I'm not too sure if you guys will be able to see, but this was going to be my last trade, and I understood that. So I ended up going kind of like all in with Robinhood, and I never use the margin, and I always get restricted through their Apex holding company because they say that I use their margin. So I was like, what the heck? Let me go ahead and now use their margin to try to make some of the, in a sense, what I missed out on. I was really frustrated yesterday. I didn't want to show that on camera just because of just such the bad experience that I've had with Robinhood. And again, that's just me. So it shows that I'm not too sure if you guys can see that I bought in on an average at an average of, if you guys can see right there, 1772. And then as of today, June 13th, ended up selling at 1851. Oh, that one shows stop price at 1840. That's initially where I had my stop. And then my sell, here you go. It's, shoot, not too sure if you guys could see it down here, 1851. But I ended up selling for, I think it was $3,405, and then I bought it for $3,188. So that's like $125. It's like 4.55%. And I got filled. It was right during pre-market hours, and it's because I have Robinhood Gold that I can get filled at that time. You guys tell me to like share my screen with you guys and stuff like that, so I just thought I'd share it with you. But overall, I am going to stop trading with my Robinhood account. I'm going to make the transition over, but I don't want to take this time to actually use that to talk about this. I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we are going to find good stocks. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So within the Tech Bud Solutions group chat, if you guys want to recommend anything, I know we have a live stream going on, so let me go ahead and let me know what it is that you guys want me to analyze, and then we can go from there. So let me start sharing my screen, guys. All right, well, I'm gonna go real quick until I get a couple of you to start sharing something. So AMD, the reason I find this one to be somewhat just interesting today is because as of 2 days ago, it took a huge drop all the way down to $11.60. Hit a resistance at $12.50, meaning that it struggled to go above. I hope that makes sense. And then it came back down to about lows of 11.47. So it is making new lows. It is showing signs of downward trend, although it has held back up. The lows are getting lower, which is not something necessarily that you want to see. So look, guys, this is a trend that I see during pre-market hours like we're doing right now. It ends up seeing, a high point, right? And then it sees a downward trend during the market open, and then it comes back up. So what I would like to see is I'm going to set my alert when it goes below 1175, and I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to trade it unless it goes to this like lower support. And the reason why is I want to catch it as it bounces off of, this, if it's 1160 or if it even makes new lows and it bounces out like 1125, whatever it is, I will not, choose to invest in AMD until it bounces and starts to show signs of upward momentum. That's something that I do pretty often, and it's a different style of trading. It's pretty much right as the market opens, there tends to be some panic sellers or whatever the case may be. AMD or certain stocks can see downward trends right as the market opens. They're called pullbacks. And in that pullback, you want to make sure that you wait for the proper bounce. So some people wait for 1 to 2 to 3 candlesticks that are green, indicating that it's showing signs of upward momentum. Usually, what I wait are for critical points. So zooming into this, what I like to wait for is like, let's say if it did take a dip down to 140, 147, you can wait until it goes above this EMA line or the SMA line, if you have that set up. I usually like to wait for like critical points, as in like this point, like 1164. So if it does end up going down to like 1125, I probably won't decide to jump back in to 1164, because then that really indicates that it's really moving up. And people might say, well, Ricky, then you're missing out on, the 1125 to 1160. Yes, but I'm ensuring that the stock that I'm investing in, this is what I want to invest in. I want to invest in something that's appreciating in value rather than hoping that I'm getting in at the lowest point on a downward trend. That's what makes more sense to me. I've seen more success when I'm more patient and ensuring that I'm getting in on an upward trend than hoping that it bounces and try to get in on a downward trend. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I first identify the support, and when I identify the support, I don't just jump in when the price is at the support. I don't do that. What I do is I wait for it to bounce and to go above a certain point, maybe an old support, which can be a new resistance when it breaks below. And then I wait for it to go above that. I could either wait for it to go above EMA, and it's something as simple as that that can really, although your profit margins aren't going to be as huge, if that's the biggest thing that you're worried about, then you can create your own style of trading. And if it works for you, great. This is just, again, something that's worked out for me, and it's something that I thought I'd share with you guys. So let's see what you guys have to say. Let's see. All right, what's going on? Not too sure what's getting. All right, it looks like this person. All right, sorry about that, guys. Not too sure if they were being disrespectful. So let's go ahead and look at FTR, since 511 Freedom requested it. There's nothing wrong with that, and this is actually a stock that I've followed up with quite often. Looks like, whoa, they might have an earning report today. Let's see that. Wait, what? Frontier Communication launches offer of notes. Well, that sounds like good news. Holy moly, it went up to 132 yesterday. This stock was trading at lows of 120, and this is why so it had a support at 120 and a resistance at 125 to 124. So like we know, old supports or old resistance levels become new support levels, and it looks like it might be bouncing at this point. So I'm just going to simply wait for the bounce, and I'm going to be trading with my Fidelity account today, guys. So I'm going to be going in positions for those that ask how many shares I buy or how heavy I go inside my positions. Every single time I trade with my Fidelity account, I go with at least $3,000 or more. So that I really like to stay within that just that area of like that risk. I don't trade usually more unless it's something that I'm extremely comfortable with. More like gold-based ETFs and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, support, resistance. Right now, the price is trending at 126 to 127. Looks like there's buyers at 125. So this should be a good one. I'm going to put my alert because it's at 126. Maybe if it goes below 126, just to stay up to date to see if I can get in at a lower price. But again, what are we going to do? I'm going to wait for the bounce. Neuro. That was requested within the group chat. I apologize that I didn't get to that a little bit sooner. Let's see. Okay, well, I want to ask you guys first, if you guys can within the live stream, why are you guys recommending Neuro? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like, why is this one that popped up in your watch list or in your scanner? So I obviously see that it's a huge gapper, but with these huge gappers, watch when the market opens, we're going to see huge pullbacks. And in those pullbacks, it looks like 355 was pretty much a resistance. So I would expect the pullback to bounce at the old resistance, which is the new support. So if it can bounce at 355 and then we can get in there, and maybe we can get in at a good price at the bounce and then sell for a profit back to where it was. But we have to be quick with that. Let's see. XBIT, no, not huge margins. I'm going to go back to this so I can calculate the percentage growth. JNAG. Dude, JNAG did amazing yesterday. From the bounce that it had, we called it out at the bounce from 1780 support all the way up to almost $20. It hit highs of 1980. So that profit margin, again, this is not a penny stock. It's more of a gold-based ETF, and obviously way above that $5 usual cap that those hold. But yeah, 10% profit is pretty much what from top to bottom that it had, which is amazing for these gold-based ETFs. It looks like it has a support now at $19, but looks like it might actually break below. So again, just waiting for the bounce. So I want to hear what you guys have to say about Neuro. So Neuro has very low volume. That's what I'm guessing. I don't think you meant to say nuts. Okay, yeah, you said Neuro. I need some good news source. Positive news on patent approval registered to the American. Okay, because I asked you guys why you guys wanted to invest in Neuro. Usually what happens, and again, in no way do I want you guys to feel that what you guys find isn't good. But again, it's all about not jumping into the hype, right? There's ways to approach this. When a stock like this one sees like really high volume, there's two ways to approach it. You can jump into the hype and hope for the best, right? Maybe you found this stock in StockTwits, maybe you found this stock by someone in Twitter, whatever the circumstance might be. Understand that whatever you invest in, you have to understand if it's a good buy and it's a good sell. The only way that you're going to understand that is if you can make sense of it. I simply looked at Neuro for the first time when you guys saw right now, and I saw that it was way overpriced. I'm expecting somewhat of a pullback because of people that held overnight are now up way more than they were when they initially bought in, and there's going to be a bunch of people trying to lock in profits. That's what makes sense to me, right? If you held overnight and you're up like 20%, wouldn't your first instinct almost be lock in profits, especially if you're a disciplined trader? Now, there's going to be, I think, a good amount of panic sellers. We're going to see a little pullback. We might see a bounce, and it's at that bounce. I don't know anything about Neuro. I don't know anything about, that specific company, the news, or anything that it came out. So understand that if you don't understand and you can't make sense of your trade when it comes to trading Neuro, I encourage you to take a step back and analyze and watch it. There's nothing wrong with missing out on it as long as you understand at the end of it how to properly trade. Because the worst thing is if you guys jump into the hype right now and try to get in at the high point at $4 or $3.99, wherever it is, and then it sees that huge pullback to like 355. Just imagine that horrible experience again, you as a news trader writing it all the way back down. That's why I encourage you guys that if you can't identify it as a good trade, then you possibly shouldn't be trading. I don't want to discourage you guys, and 100% you guys can do whatever it is that you guys want. I'm just saying I don't want to see you guys be so discouraged whatsoever at such an early age because of a simple mistake that we could have fixed. So I'm going to go back to share my screen, and I'm going to get my Fidelity app ready so we can start making positions. Okay, so okay, he has a funny username, but after 3 days of researching, I'm giving trading a try. So, in 3 days, like that's great. I just want to make sure that if you guys can make sense of your trade, and if you guys have taken the time to really understand how to trade, then by all means, that you do whatever it is that you would want to do, if you feel comfortable. But just know that it's not about getting lucky or hoping for the best, but it really comes down to understanding what you're investing in. So I'm gonna go back to that stock that you guys were. Actually, I do want to follow up with, what the heck? Come on. I missed your comment thing. See Jeremy Daughtry. Where you at, bud? I have got a total of $13 in my account. Let's do this. Alright. Why is it not going? Alright. What looks like it's going up to highs of, 418. So what can happen? Can it can actually continue to rise and continue to rise and continue to rise? Like, yeah, that's definitely possible. But you have to understand yourself. I mean, or make sense of it to yourself. Every stock is not always going to continue to rise. There's always going to be pullbacks. And you have to understand, like, this thing was trading a couple days ago at 38 cents. Does that really show it looks like there's actually a resistance at $4.50, so that might be a good resistance to try to sell at. So that's why I went a little bit further back. I just want to get an understanding where the resistance are. Support is overall at 312, and right now highs of 415. So let me get a little bit closer. This thing just seems way too overhyped for me, and I definitely don't like jumping into the hype or want you guys to fall into the hype. So it looks like there might be a little resistance at 420, support at 380. So if we can see a little pullback, again, it's just waiting for the bounce. And then let's say we get in at the bounce at 380 and ride it back to 420. If we can get in and out pretty quickly, that's about 10%, 10.65%. So that's something to look out for. I'm going to set my alert right here very quickly. If it goes above 420, and then I'm going to set my alert as it approaches 480 if it goes below. And again, I just right click and then go below. For those that are asking about how I use these different studies, I've made a video on how to have access to all this and this platform. Please, again, refer to my YouTube channel to watch that video if you guys haven't done so already. And there's a, okay. So XBIT, I want to see how that one's doing today. Looks like it was coming back down to the $4 support. So I'm pretty salty when it comes to XBIT. I'm probably not going to trade it. But again, you never know. Okay, it's approaching support again. Right now it's at 126 still. We have about 30 seconds left until the market opens. So get ready, guys. Let's see what else you guys have to say. Mossy, you guys are really passionate about that one. Again, huge market movers at 165, no volume whatsoever. Support overall at 145. I would wait for a pullback. So I'm going to put my alert simply here at 148. And we have 5 seconds left. 4, 3. Guys, just make sure you trade what you understand. Let's do this. So Mossy 160, and then let's see if we see a pullback. 165. I'm going to get my position ready. SPI went master above. Neuro went last or above. Okay, so Neuro is running. But is it going to run forever? Okay, so again, the overall resistance was at $4.50. It looks like it's being pushed all the way up there. Seeing somewhat of a pullback. Let's see. 416, now it's dropping pretty quickly. All right. Let's see what you guys have to say. I want to see what the people in the Technical Solutions group chat are saying during pre-market analysis. So again, these are the 2 group chats. If you guys aren't a part of Technical Solutions, the link is provided for you down below, so you guys can join our networking group. We sit a little bit over 23,000 members with all the different platforms available. And again, it's a free group. You just have to have a Facebook account. 36, 440, hitting that resistance. And then is it going to break above 440 and then hit 450 and then see a pullback? Let's see. FTR, dude, this one went from 126 all the way up to 129. I still have my alert set, 128. JNAG. Running again, bounced at above 19, is now running resistance at 1980. Not enough profit margin on that one. VRX to set my alert. Alrighty. Straight out trading, okay. The reason that I see potential in rig. Nope, not this one. Let me see. JDST at a low point, but it's not bouncing. I'm gonna put my alert when it goes below $63. And again, if it's not going according to what you're planning, like if nothing's trading the way you thought it would, then there's no reason to trade it. Wow, Euro had a huge pullback, hit 340, and then had a huge pullback to the $4 support, and is now dropping below. Guys, this is why it's so important to have a stop loss for those that are trading it. I hope you guys had everything set up properly. Look at that huge drop. This is what shows you that this stock has been overhyped. Again, we wait for the bounce and we wait for 1 to 2 green candlesticks, still dropping, and that's what you want to do. You want to wait for it to drop. I thought that there was going to be a bounce at like 380. Looks like it bounced at like 385. There's 2 green candlesticks. And if we can get a third green candlestick and then above $4, this could be a good one. Let me make sure that. All right. Pull back again. Again, not really showing an upward trend since it's staying green. A red candlestick at the moment. Got a couple. Not that many sellers. Let's see. RSI is right around 46. Close on a green candlestick, so that's good. But again, let's take a step back and see how overhyped it is, even where it currently stands. Again, the support is at 380. So if I decide to jump on in right now, I'm going to set my stop loss there. Let's see if I can get in at 385, 395. And that's still a huge percentage, and that's why these are so risky, because these are like momentum stocks. So you usually want to buy them when they're spiking up. So I think that's what I might wait for, unless I can get in a little bit closer to the support. If it starts running, then that's when I'll make the decision to jump on in. But yeah, I'm not liking this too much, just because I don't want to take the risk of stop lossing out from 380. Oh, do we have a good one? Okay. Guys, there's a really big resistance at $4. There's a breaking above. It's really struggling, but if it breaks above, this could be a good one. Wow, okay, it's running again. Okay, pull back, pull back. It's not running, volume is dying down. Nope. Broke below support of $4. So what I was gonna plan to do is get in anything above $4 and then cut losses below $4, but that would have been a waste of a day trade, right? Yeah, guys, doesn't look like it's running at the moment. I'm gonna give it a couple more. It looks like the volume is dying out. Looks like I have a quick question. All right, back at 394. So then 390 support. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Ooh, looks like you guys are doing good with Mossy. That's good. But you guys, and again, that's not something that I had on my watch list. It's something that you guys started bringing up. So I'm glad that you guys were able to make sense of a trade and jump. Holy. All right. So it looks like it spiked up. Didn't really have much volume. Saw a little pullback to 160 and it pushed right on through. Hit its resistance and is now showing signs of downward trend. So if it breaks below 210, guys, then that's most likely that's going to start breaking below. So that's pretty solid. Man, you guys found really good momentum stocks. And again, it's all about the ins and the outs, right? It's day trades. We're not holding these. All we want to do is get in at the when it's rising up. And again, upward momentum, get in, get out, lock in profits, move on. Ooh, okay. Guys, look, it's right at the support, 382, and it's bouncing. So if I get in right now, I would stop loss out if it drops below 380. So if I get in at like 3.8, 3.83, 3.82. It's getting a little too close. Let's see, 3.82. All right, let's see. Bouncing. And I would have my stop loss set at 380. That would manage my risk to less than 1%, which is what I would want. But come on, Fidelity. All right. Well, just waiting for it to bounce. It's rising. See, not really liking the decrease in volume. Let's see. It's not filling. My limit orders at 384. I'm gonna wait out on this one. The reason why is the volume is really decreasing. It's not moving up much. It is bouncing from the support, but it looks like 390 is a resistance. And again, you don't want to get in. It looks like it's kind of repeating this, and it's most likely going to bounce here again. Again, I'd rather get in closer, but I want to get in when it's rising, and it's not necessarily showing that right now. Uh, let's see. Okay, there we go. All right. Buyers at 389. Seller at 390. Oh, it broke above. No. All right. Yeah, it's not really moving. All right. It looks like it probably is going to break above right now. Okay, broke above it. Pull back. You see, that's what you don't want. Pull back. XBIT broke below 410, so it looks like that broke support. This thing is now in a downward trend. Again, I don't care about getting in at the lowest price. I just want to get in at the bounce. Is it bouncing? All right. Oh, and it dropped below. Huge drop. Let's see where this would bounce. It's bouncing, so maybe we needed a sudden drop for it to rise. Let's see. You see just downward momentum since it's open. So it looks like it's doing pretty well. So I'm going to get in right now. Oh, momentum spike. Uh, Again, 380 was a support, becomes a new resistance, is at 378. Sellers at 380. Let's see. 1.81%. If I get in right now, stop loss at, login profits at, yeah, $4. The reason I want to sell most likely at $4 is because during pre-market hours, that's where the resistance was, but then it broke it later on, which is, great. But buyers here, okay, rising 380. So the sellers are now being a little bit more firm. There's a wall of sellers at 380. So wow, what the heck? This thing had no volume. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Volume is just dying out. Prices are starting to fall. PBR is hitting support. Let's see. This is gonna be where the again, like if I don't know if you guys could see this, but like it bounced at 390, hit $4, bounced at 380, hit 390, bounced at 370 or 371, and then hit 380. So it's just these like downward staircases of like levels of about 10 cents, where it bounces, rises, bounces, rises, bounces, rises. For a $3 stock, 10 cents, it's about 3.33%. So it's not horrible. It's more than what you would need for the $1,000 challenge. But yeah, it's getting close to the support. 373, 374, 375. Let's see. Buyers at 374. Green candlestick, 378. Highs, can we break above 380? That's going to be the real like deciding factor if this thing's going to bounce or not. It looks like it's almost building a new support at 375. This EMA line is starting to catch up with it, so hopefully we can start writing it up. Again, you want to be above EMA. RSI is around 37. I like to be usually below 35. And again, that's just criteria that I like to trade on. 78, 380. All right, let's see. Approaching resistance, so you can see you need to get rid of that seller. 31 is getting filled. Getting closer. Pull back. Oh my goodness. Sellers are holding. Break above 390. 379. Pull back 375. 374. Resistance is too strong, so it doesn't look like it's breaking right now. Oh, come on. Like you have to understand, like, this stock is most likely not going to ride at this 380 resistance the entire time. And it really needs to see some break of resistance so it can start moving up, because if not, all these sellers are going to be tired, and they're again, comes down to like opportunity cost. And if it's not in their favor, then they're just going to, cut losses or lock in profits and move on. But that's what we usually see when we see a stock right up at the resistance and it can't break it, then all of a sudden it drops below. And so, all right. 377, 375. Man, this resistance is too real right now.
Are you done with your live stream?
No. All right. Well, Let's go ahead and it looks like I'm pretty much just going to be watching this one here. I'm going to follow up with this one later on, guys. So if you guys, again, want to ask me any questions, feel free to let me know within the Technical Solutions group chat. I want to thank each and every one of you guys again for taking time out of your day and joining us. If you guys can like and subscribe, 100%, we'd greatly appreciate. If you guys can't, then, I 100% understand. But again, we want to recommend or receive any recommendations or suggestions on anything that you guys want us to continue to do. Tell us or tell me within the Technical Solutions group chat, direct message me. Tell me what you think I'm doing good, what my areas of improvement are. Again, I'm here to try to continue to make better content for you guys. So I hope you guys understand that. I can't thank you guys enough for everything that it is that you guys do. Best of luck. But again, it doesn't come down to luck when it comes to trading. It comes down to identifying potential, having a plan, and sticking to it. So I hope you guys understand that. So thank you guys again so much. Hope you guys have an amazing day. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, guys.